Most people believe discipline is a personality trait, something you either have or you don't. If you fail to stay consistent, society tells you that you are lazy, weak, distracted, or lacking ambition. But this idea is deeply misleading. Discipline is not a moral virtue. It is not proof of superiority. And in many cases, the people who appear naturally disciplined are not stronger than everyone else. They simply understand how the human brain actually works. The truth is uncomfortable, but freeing. Your brain was never designed to help you achieve long-term goals. It was designed to keep you alive. For most of human history, survival depended on conserving energy, avoiding unnecessary risks, and seeking immediate rewards. Our ancestors lived in environments where food was scarce, danger was constant, and wasting energy could mean death. Because of this, the brain evolved to prefer comfort over effort, pleasure over discomfort, and instant gratification over distant rewards. That ancient wiring still exists inside you today. When you plan to wake up early to train, your brain interprets it as unnecessary effort. When you sit down to study, your mind instantly looks for something easier and more stimulating. Social media, entertainment, scrolling, distractions. These activities provide immediate dopamine with almost no energy expenditure. From a biological perspective, your brain sees them as efficient choices. This is why relying on pure willpower rarely works for long. You are trying to override millions of years of evolutionary programming with temporary motivation. Eventually, fatigue wins. And when fatigue appears, the brain always returns to the path of least resistance. That is why so many people feel trapped in cycles of procrastination and self-criticism. They think the problem is their character, when the real problem is that they are fighting against their own biology instead of learning how to work with it. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, explains this perfectly. Real discipline is not created through force. It is created through design. The most consistent people are not constantly battling temptation with heroic self-control. They build systems, environments, and routines that make the right behavior easier than the wrong one. They remove friction from good habits and add friction to bad ones. Instead of fighting their brain, they guide it. This changes everything. Most people think self-control is an internal trait. In reality, behavior is heavily shaped by the environment around you. Your surroundings quietly influence your decisions every day. If your phone is beside your bed, you will probably check it first thing in the morning. If junk food is visible in your kitchen, you are more likely to eat it. If your workout clothes are hidden in a drawer, exercising suddenly feels harder. Human behavior follows convenience. Your brain constantly asks one question: what is the easiest option right now? And usually, that is the option you choose. This is why environment matters more than motivation. A poorly designed environment makes discipline exhausting. A well-designed environment makes discipline almost automatic. Imagine someone trying to start reading every night. If the book is hidden on a shelf while the phone is beside the pillow, the brain will naturally choose the easier source of stimulation. But if the phone is placed in another room and the book is left open on the bed, the entire decision changes. The same principle applies to productivity, fitness, learning, and focus. Small environmental changes create enormous behavioral changes over time. Want to exercise consistently? Prepare your clothes the night before. Want to stop wasting time online? Remove distracting apps from your home screen. Want to study more? Keep your materials visible and ready before you begin. These actions may seem simple, but they are powerful because they reduce friction. And friction is everything. The brain avoids what feels difficult and repeats what feels easy. If a habit requires too much activation energy, procrastination appears automatically. But when a behavior becomes convenient, visible, and accessible, resistance decreases dramatically. This is also why habit formation matters more than motivation. The human brain operates through loops: cue, routine, reward. Most of your daily behaviors already happen automatically. You brush your teeth without thinking. You unlock your phone without awareness. You follow routines that have become neurologically embedded. James Clear introduces a strategy called habit stacking. Instead of trying to create entirely new habits from scratch, you attach a new behavior to an existing routine. After making coffee, read one page. After brushing your teeth, meditate for 2 minutes. After sitting at your desk, write one paragraph. The old habit becomes the trigger for the new one. This works because starting is the hardest part of any action. Once movement begins, momentum takes over. The brain resists initiation more than continuation. Habit stacking bypasses that resistance by connecting effort to an already automatic behavior. And this reveals another important truth. Successful habits usually start small. Most people fail because they aim too large too quickly. They try to transform their entire life overnight. 2-hour workouts, extreme productivity routines, massive lifestyle changes. But the brain perceives large changes as threats, which creates resistance. Small habits survive because they feel manageable. Reading 1 page sounds easy. Doing 5 push-ups sounds easy. Writing for 2 minutes sounds easy. But small actions repeated consistently create identity shifts over time. And identity is the deepest layer of discipline. Most people focus on outcomes. They want to lose weight, become productive, build confidence, or achieve success. But lasting transformation happens when you stop focusing only on results and begin changing the way you see yourself. Every action you repeat becomes evidence of who you believe you are. When you exercise consistently, you begin to see yourself as someone who trains. When you study daily, you begin to see yourself as someone disciplined. When you keep promises to yourself, self-trust grows. Identity is built through repetition. This is why discipline is not about forcing yourself endlessly. It is about becoming the type of person for whom the behavior feels natural. Highly disciplined people are not constantly inspired. They are not passionately motivated every day. They simply create systems where the desired behavior becomes the default option. They understand that motivation is unreliable, but structure is dependable. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. That sentence changes how you see productivity forever. Your future is not determined by what you want occasionally. It is determined by what you repeat daily. And perhaps the most liberating realization of all is this: procrastination is not proof that you are broken. In many cases, it is proof that your systems are poorly designed. If a habit is invisible, difficult, unrewarding, and inconvenient, your brain will resist it naturally. But if the behavior becomes obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, consistency stops feeling like constant warfare. Discipline then becomes less about effort and more about alignment. Alignment between your environment, your routines, and your identity. The goal is not to become someone who never struggles. The goal is to create a life where the right actions happen with less resistance. A life where good behaviors are easier to repeat than bad ones. Because in the end, discipline is not a personality trait, it is a system. And once you understand that, everything changes.